Had over 1 million of these Springfields, 800,000. The Brits made breech loaders out of a lot of they called them Snyder conversions, and the Americans did the same thing with the Springfield. They do it with a slightly newer. This is a reproduction model 1861.
Right.
Very similar to the model 1863. You can tell they're a little. But what they did, rather than build a whole new breech loading rifle, they cut down the barrel.
Oh,
this is 58 caliber, put a sleeve down the barrel and bored it to 50-70, which is...
It's much more powerful.
Small, yeah, it's more powerful.
So compressed.
Compressed because it wasn't just a paper cartridge, and I can show you.
Wow. But this is, so that's the predecessor to the...
This is the predecessor to this.
To this, yeah. Okay.
Well, they actually converted them to it, and they made metallic They made it so it could be a breech loader. This is called a trap door.
Okay.
So you could do where you.
How many rounds have had the two rounds, 3 rounds?
Well, they could do 9 to 10 aim shots a minute. They could put the metallic. Those are 57. Those are like the rounds they put in this. This belonged to one of the Modoc leaders, and he'd been. Somehow he got it from the Army before the war. And they could do 9 to 10 rounds from any position.
Wow.
They, you could... But these were more practical.
This is a private head of this wonderful gentleman who's been explaining and taking me through generations of history and life just on this land.
I spent a little time in Bozeman, Montana, and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, too. And since I came here in the area in '87, so.
Folks, if you're passing by, going to his Crater Lake on the 62, is that right? This is
Highway 62, Crater Lake Highway.
And please do. Please do. Of course.
I almost fixed the bayonet I've got here. You have the powder down first.
Yeah.
And this would be, this cup part would be on top of the powder. You'd set it off with a percussion cap. I've got a few of those. And the explosion would expand in that cup, and that would make the bullet engage the grooves, and that would put the spin on it. Now, it was so you could do 3 aim shots a minute with this. Unlike
accurate?
The patch. Very accurate.
Wow.
And they could do, a good man could do 3 aim shots a minute with this. But now you do, I found in firing this live, is you do build up fouling in your barrel, and after about 10 rounds, and from the lead and from the black powder, it burns pretty dirty when you set it off. So how did they fix that? I asked my sergeants then in the civil, how did they? Well, every 10th round was a zinc round, harder metal, so that would cleans it out.
Okay.
Or if you didn't have that, sometimes if you're jammed up by that time, you're in a pitched battle, you've lost some men, your file closer would be a first sergeant like me, or here, poor Clem has died. Here, take his weapon.
Wow.
So who developed it?
The French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see, what that enabled every man to become a rifleman, and that's one of the things that made the casualties in the Civil War so high. Their tactics were still for smoothbores, where you're unlucky if you got hit at 100 yards. 50 was a more common distance that you'd hit people with. But now with these, we've got sights that say 100, 300, 500 yards. I fired it live using mini balls. That's not kidding. You're only limited by what you can pick out targets on. I was with a group of other